Hello everyone and welcome into the building. So we've got to talk about today, the new episode of the Real Housewives of Orange County. That's season 17, episode 9. We start the episode out where we had left off last week. So Shannon is going off with production because she does not want anything about John to be said. Absolutely nothing. And now Shannon is pissed that what she said to Heather in confidence is now being brought up. She makes her way back to the table with the other two, Vicki and Tamra says, I'm not going to give details for your privacy, obviously, but Heather told Emily that your relationship with John is bull. You know what? Vicki says, oh yeah, she definitely broke your trust. And they showed clips from the old seasons where we can see that Heather has always betrayed Shannon's trust when it comes to her relationships. They ask Shannon, what are you going to say to Heather? And Shannon says, I'll say, read between the lines. And she sticks up the middle finger. But they calm down and then the tres amigas cheer with their tequila. Okay, we move on to Emily, and the whole family is going to a pumpkin patch. One of the little kids said that a friend of his said that a scary scarecrow can come and unalive you. Some like horror stuff that kids talk about, I don't know. And Emily says, no, don't talk about that. That's not real. And Shane, he says to Emily, well, maybe you should talk to him calmly and not chastise him. Shane, that is not good parenting. You can't be so damn gentle. The little girl is acting up and he doesn't want Emily to say anything to her, so they need to work on that. Poor Emily starts to cry in the middle of the pumpkins. I mean, it's a mess, but her family is beautiful, I will say that. Okay, moving along, Tamra and Jenn are meeting up in a healthy frozen yogurt place. I thought Jenn wasn't speaking to her, but they seem to be mending the friendship in a way. Tamra does her fake crying that she likes to do and blames her behavior on things that are going on in her life, like the gym closing, same old story. She says that she needs to be better with her words, and I think Jenn is believing her. But in her confessional, Tamra admits that she was wrong for throwing the napkin and screaming at her, but she still thinks what she thinks about the relationship between Ryan and Jenn. But then going back to the scene where they're together, Tamra is inviting Jenn on a couples night and she wants Ryan to come with her. I was like screaming through the TV and saying, Jenn, don't believe Tamra, but I think she was definitely believing her in this moment. The next scene I really liked. It was Heather, but it wasn't because of Heather. It was because she was meeting up with Mark Cuban, and I'm from Dallas, and I'm a Mavs fan, so that was so cool. He's a big deal, you know, and Heather wants to create a new show, you know, have some new projects coming up that have to do with her acting and all of that. So her and Mark are talking about business and stuff like that, but it was a very quick scene. I'm sure Mark said, listen, I'm gonna show up for 2 minutes and that's it because I'm busy. Okay, then Gina and Jenn are hanging out, they're shopping, and they're actually kind of bonding at this point. You know, despite Gina's whole, oh, she triggers me, I think they're past that, and I think it's good. And Jenn opens up about Tamra, Gina thinks that Tamra is being shady, and then Jenn tells her that she and Ryan are going to have dinner with Tamra, Eddie, Shannon, and John. And they as well discuss what has been said about Shannon and John. And I just feel so bad for Shannon. The next scene is then Tamra, Jenn, and Heather. They're going to a boxing class. Heather tells them that she wants to buy an apartment in LA, you know, move out of the big house, and she wants to revamp her Hollywood career. Then here comes shady Tamra. She brings up Shannon and John. And Heather says, yeah, I mean, I've heard some great things or whatever. But Tamra is purposely, like, wanting to ask these questions to see how much Heather spills. And I think it was a good idea. And it actually kind of worked in a way because Heather ends up saying, don't you think that Shannon is keeping things super close because something might be going on? So Tamra she knows what to say and what not to say. So in that way, she did a good thing. Then we proceed to Shane and Emily going on a date, just the two of them as a couple. They attempt to speak Spanish to the waiter, their white people Spanish, like, hola, I'm like, whatever, it's funny. And they crack each other up so much. And that's one of the things that Emily loves about him, that he has a great sense of humor and she's always laughing. But she does bring up what happened at the pumpkin farm. She says, I was disciplining the kids and you corrected me. You tried to stop me. He says, I didn't mean to correct you. I just wanted to add to it. But she wants them to be a good team. She felt minimized in that moment. And for her, it's like different because she didn't have a mom and dad. But her kids are fortunate enough to have both. So she wants to make the best of it. I definitely hear what she's saying because she wants to feel respected as a mother. And if you think about it, if you're disciplining your child and the other parent stops you in front of them, they're sort of delegitimizing their authority as a parent. And I'm old school. I'm like, believe in whooping and strong discipline, but I hope they make this work. We then see Gina and Travis. She's really taking this real estate thing seriously. So she does this thing where she's like role playing with Travis. She's like the agent and he's the one looking for the home. Look, Gina's not the most interesting, but this was such a fun scene. I like seeing her try to show the house, and she definitely needs some practice, I will say, because, when you become a real estate agent, lawyer, business owner, whatever, you have to lure the client and, sort of seduce them in a way. Next up, Shannon and John are together. He asks, how was dinner with Vicki? He was probably expecting her to say something like, oh, it was so fun, but all she could think of was the Heather thing. So she just says, it was good. Like, very, very vague. And then Tamra and Eddie arrive. Tamra is a little bit nervous because she has not seen Ryan since the gym thing. And then they arrive as well, Jenn and Ryan. Ryan seems like he's definitely a cool guy, the way he's acting, very charismatic, I will say, saying hey to everyone despite the tension, and just he dresses up kind of silly. So I can see why he's like a topic of conversation, I guess. Then the three couples make their way into John's boat. Once they're in the boat, Tamra does whisper to Eddie's ear and says, "You won't even look at me." Well, obviously not, Tamra. You accused the man of wanting to screw you. You think he's going to look at you? Then they show a scene really quickly with Terry and Heather. They're talking about moving, and just the way she talks about like her current house and the help. She is so out of touch with the real world, but you know what? It's TV and she's super rich, so whatever. But now that the kids are leaving and it's just the two of them, it's a little bittersweet for them. But let's get back to the couples on the boat. It starts to become very awkward. The whole boat ride was very awkward. But then they make their way into the restaurant. By the way, it's the same restaurant that Tamra threw the napkin at Jen's face, I must say. They are sitting down, they're ordering their food, and somehow Ryan makes a joke about the D-pic that he allegedly sent. So Tamra says, "Do you want to talk about it?" But he says, "No, I have nothing to address." But oh my god, that elephant in that room was so big. Shannon says to John, "Have you ever sent a D-pic?" At least they all laughed. At least they kind of cut the tension out. And Tamara says, "I've told my kids never send a D-pic ever, whatever." And then Shannon and John both get up to use the bathroom. I mean, come on, we know why. So then the two couples are left alone. It's just Ryan, Eddie, Tamra, and Jenn. And Ryan says to Eddie, "I owe you an apology," but he does struggle seeing that Jenn has been so hurt over what has been said. And then Ryan says to Tamra, "I do feel hurt and betrayed by you, Tamra." Eddie then says, "Well, I've heard that you go after married women," and then all of a sudden you got with Jenn. They both Eddie and Tamra say, "We love Jenn and have known her way longer than you, so we're just looking out for her." And then Eddie says, "Let's clear up some rumors. Did you cheat on your wife?" And he says, "Yes." So they're like, "Okay, so that makes you a cheater." And then Eddie says, "Did you say you wanted to F my wife?" He says, "No. Heather," the blonde Heather, "kept teasing me that Tamra was saying that I was cute and whatever. So I said Tamra was hot. That's it, but I never said I wanted to F her," Ryan says. And they just begin to interrogate him, like with all of these questions about his actions and stuff like that. And they say that it's for Jen's sake, but I think they're just being very judgmental. But he does answer all the questions, and Tamra says, okay, so we don't never have to talk about this then? And Jenn says, no, please, no. So for now, it's squashed, but Tamra does ask, like, are y'all gonna get married? And Ryan says, yep, definitely, we plan on getting married and doing the whole thing. And then all of them cheer, all the three couples, and it seems to be a good ending for now. I'm sure that this topic will come back eventually, but not too much, because you guys, we got the mid-season trailer at the end of the episode, and it's gonna be fire. Heather Dubrow is going to become the villain because they're all coming after her, especially Emily Simpson. Emily is going to show up the rest of the season, and she's really clocking in. So I cannot wait. And of course, Vicki is going to be much more present. I'm very excited about that. And yeah, you guys, so let me know, what did you think about this episode? Do you think Heather is really talking about Shannon and her business? And what do you think about the way that Ryan and Eddie talked? You know, I will say, even though I said it many times, I do think Ryan is a cheater, and I think Jenn needs to break up with him, but he definitely handled things like a gentleman, so I will give him that. So you guys, like I said, let me know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You'll have a great one. Bye.